Yes, everybody, here we go again. Russ the West End Network. Hope you are all safe and well, my friends. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Keep an eye on the channel next few days. We should hopefully be announcing a really cool new partnership with another supplier who I think you guys will really dig. It's not like you'll really enjoy. Yeah, to be quite fun. But it is your lunchtime headlines today. Mix it up a little bit. We've got 4 stories to talk about, 4 news items, so to speak, all transfer related, as you can imagine. And then we have the Hammers headlines a little bit later on. Let's start with him. Callum bloody Wilson. Now, reports came out yesterday that according to a senior source, who was quoted as saying, the manager does not want a striker, which some feel wrong. I feel we should sign 2. We expect to sign Callum Wilson, but that might be enough, in my opinion, as he's had some injury issues in the past. Obviously, Callum Wilson is a free agent. He is a Salthouse client, I believe. But following that news, Claret and Hugh revealed that actually Potter has decided against signing a striker at all during the transfer window. And the report suggests the club were keen at recruiting at least 2, one of them being the former Newcastle man. However, it is believed that Potter has rejected that opportunity, which will be music to some people's ears, being Callum bloody Wilson, being a 33-year-old striker as well. I spoke about it this morning in terms of my thoughts around around not going for forwards and what that could mean. What that could mean to West Ham, what that could mean to the current crop of players, what it could mean to also the academy players as well, sort of the forward-based players. For me, everything I hear now, obviously, we all take with a pinch of salt. We were led to believe that Potter and McCauley didn't want Kyle Walker-Peters, who's now in a West Ham shirt with number 2 squad number over the weekend. So I'm not saying we're not going to sign him, but at the moment, Potter's rejected that chance. Personally, I think whether it's in favour of maybe if we do, I can see us nabbing a free transfer striker at the end of this window, possibly. Just as cover more than anything, and it could even be the return of Michael Antonio, who's like the modern day Carlton Cole, really. But what we're led to believe at the moment, he's not going to be signed for West Ham as of yet. But then, as said, just look at what we said about Kyle Walker-Peters. One person again who's sort of, it's probably this season's Yusuf En-Nesyri, is Douglas Luiz. A report from Gazzetta dello Sport today suggests that he wants to quit and leave as soon as possible in order to give him the best chance of getting into the World Cup squad for Brazil. He has ambitions of getting back into that for the 2026 World Cup in the US of A. And it states that the Hammers, Nottingham Forest, are the most determined to sign him ahead of Everton, who are also interested apparently. And the Italians are willing to sanction a loan-to-buy deal. That's according to report in Gazzetta dello Sport. Whether that transpires and is being true, who knows? We know Italian press particularly love a rumour, and they love to, and they're very heavily influenced by agents and stuff. So it could be someone like Douglas Luiz's agent trying to push this story through. So everything we do, we take with a grain of salt. We're not saying we're signing all these players. In fact, we are now being linked after today's show with 176 players we've been linked with, which is enough to fill 7 Premier League squads? Something like that. Mental. Goalkeeper, an area we're looking at. Been linked with Mads Hermansson, and we've been linked to another couple of goalkeepers. We're going to talk about one now. We'll probably talk about one at Hammers Headlines this afternoon. And that is the Sheffield United 25-year-old goalkeeper Michael Cooper. He's considered a backup option should all other preferred options fail to bear fruit. So if we get Michael in, it shows that everyone else has rejected us or they're too expensive. He is a 6'1", English goalkeeper. He's only been at Bramwell Lane for a year. He moved from Plymouth Argyle in August, ironically replacing Wes Fodringham, who obviously came to West Ham. And he is someone who we have on our list. We have several players. Parma's Japanese goalkeeper, Zion Suzuki, I couldn't remember his name there. He remains one of our top targets, as well as Mads Hermansen, apparently, according to reports. But the likelihood is that he will not leave Parma, and Mads is probably the most likely to sign for us. We want a loan to buy a deal. Leicester want the money, around 20 million quid. As it seems, we're being linked with everyone. The price tag is 20 million quid. It's almost like they know we've got some money. It's almost like we sold one of our players and quite publicly. Hashtag just saying. Midfield. We talk about Douglas Luiz, another player we've been linked to, according to XWHU employee. It's not Sebastian Haller's love child, but it is 22-year-old Stuttgart midfielder Enzo Milosevic, who had a great season for the Bundesliga side. He played a key role as Stuttgart won the DFB Pokal, scoring twice in the final in a 4-2 victory. He's bagged 6 goals and 5 assists in 29 Bundesliga appearances this season. So he's 23. So I thought he's 22. He's registered 12 goals and 8 assists across all 43 matches he played last season in 23-24, 6 goals and 10 assists in 35 appearances. On average, 6 progressive carries, 2 progressive passes per game, left-footed. He loves a pass. And also loves that sort of carry with the ball, that energy. He has apparently only got a 20 million euro release clause in his contract, and according to reports, it's open to a move away from Stuttgart. So this is the type. So again, for me, we can spend twice as much on a Premier League ready player. Douglas Luiz, 35 million. James McAtee, 35 million. Someone like Enzo would have come up with the supercomputer, would have come up, and I could see this one happening. Interestingly, Stuttgart boss is Sebastian Hoeneß, who is someone that we were linked with to take over from David Moyes before we got Lopetegui, if you remember. He's a friend of Tim Steidten's. And this type of player I like. Energetic, real box to box. As I said, I'd love us to put again, money would be ridiculous in my opinion, but someone like Conor Gallagher, someone like that, someone that energy, someone that tenacity. We've missed that since David Beckham, since Declan Rice left. And if we, as much as we don't want to admit it, he did that. That's what he did. He put the ball, he drove forward, he sometimes, pulled up his socks and won games on his own back. And we haven't got anyone in midfield who can do that. We've got people who can do some of the bits, but not someone who's that complete midfielder who could proper box to box. And Enzo could be that person. Could be. And for 70 million quid, seems a good deal for me. And that is your lunchtime headlines, my friends. Thank you very, very much for your time, as per usual. If you like this format, let us know. Sort of lunchtime headlines. We'll mix it up a little bit. As I said, keep an eye on the channel. We'll have Hammer's headlines a bit later on, the afternoon headlines, of course. And have a nice Tuesday. I won't say see you next Tuesday, but that's because I'll see you later on. But anyway, if you're new around here, honestly, you don't understand how much likes, comments, all that type of stuff helps channels grow. Not just our channel, all West Ham fan channels. All the guys, when they say like, comment, share, it really does help because it promotes things to the algorithm. So if you've watched something West Ham and you're not a subscriber and you haven't watched our channel or Claret and Booze or, Bobby Moore, West Ham Voice or Hammers Chat or, West Ham Fan TV, Talking Hammers, who else we got? West Ham Way. There's loads out there, the West Ham World. And you can, and it really does help promote our stuff, but also other people's stuff. And we're all trying to help each other out in it. Everyone has an opinion. There's lots of things out there for everyone's different. If you don't like our constant transfer rumor shows, you have to watch them. Go and watch something else. Go watch an opinion piece. And until next time, take care, my friends. Much love. See you later, potatoes.